This is the talk show that takes a no-holds-barred approach to politics, where truth and integrity are the standard and the Constitution honored. From Renaissance Studios, this is Champion News Talk Radio.
Good morning. Welcome to another great edition of Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net, your choice for the conservative voice. This is Carol Parisi. Today, our founder, Jack Roser, and myself have two very special guests with us. After this wonderful primary that we just had on Tuesday, we have Mr. Jim Edwards from Republican Renaissance PAC and Mr. John Bernbom. And we're going to talk all about elections today. How are you, Jack?
Oh, pretty good for the shape I'm in, but we should have a little introduction. John Bernbom is an attorney. You're a member of the Federalist Society. That means you've got a kind of serious bent to you about doing things that are just right.
Well, thanks, Jack. That's right. I am. I've been an attorney a long time and proudly volunteering to help some of your efforts.
Yeah. I've known John for a few years now, and he's a great communicator. He knows how to, you were once a teacher, I believe, and you're very good at communicating to people and doing these projection things.
No, wait a second. A teacher and an attorney.
Yes.
And
he teaches attorneys.
you teach attorneys.
That's right. I think we're all educators in our own way. You know that, Carol, and you are too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And,
I'm a mom.
Some of us are. Some of it. Yeah, you're a mom. That's right. That's a very important educational job. But you're right, Jack. Educating is important. Communicating, letting people know what your position is. I mean, it's very, very important. So yes, education is important, and I guess law is important too.
And the good thing is, I had to say that you were an attorney because a lot of times people wouldn't understand that you are and that you have a background of knowledge like that. But you aren't out there being a wise guy. You've been working in the city of Chicago, helping organize people, and along with Deb Gordel's, who's opened a office on Irving Park Road on the north side, and then another office down in the 10th Ward, almost in Indiana. And you've been part of keeping that thing on the straight and narrow as far as the way it works. And people should know that it's just remarkable what's happened in the city of Chicago, the work that you and Deb have done to get a lot of people to actually run in the city of Chicago for committeemen and such, and as Republicans. Because up to now, people are scared spineless of admitting that they're a Republican in the city of Chicago.
That's right, Jack. Deb Gordills and I, really, we can say we stepped into the void. There was really no activity going on at all. I think everyone, regardless of your partisanship, believes in the two-party system. And in any situation where the two-party system is lacking, it's got to be made right. And that's what's happened over the last few months. And that's what happened on Tuesday too, Jim. Is that we've made some strides, and the endeavor continues, and it's very, very exciting.
You know, I haven't had many kind words, excuse me, about attorneys in politics, Jay.
That's
You
right,
know that,
yeah.
'cause most-
That's why I mentioned a
Well,
teacher and an attorney.
One of the things that I've noticed in politics, especially on the Democrat side, is loaded with attorneys in politics. But I've noticed that there's two types of attorneys that go into politics, at least running for office. And out where I come from, a lot of times it's guys that aren't successful as an attorney, so they run for office. But then there are the other ones that work for these big giant law firms like the Michael Madigans of the world and many others who run, and you can't help but think there might be some ulterior motives for helping their law practice.
Ulterior motives, darn right. He has a lot of influence. And of course, entirely within the law, don't you know, that he's able to help those gentlemen get through the thicket of the tax laws here in Illinois. And but it's entirely legal, you understand. And the fact that the state of Illinois is known from here to Timbuktu as the most crooked state in the whole union has nothing to do with the fact that Madigan is running the state from his office. What's the word there? Where's he? Which district? The 13th?
22nd.
22nd district, yeah.
13th ward. Yeah.
13th ward is in there.
Well, the
Yes.
13th is very unlucky for the citizens of the area. That's for sure. Because we had a thing that's gotten a lot of press, and a big article by John
Cass, yes.
John Cass in the Tribune about the political heavy-handed stuff that goes on there. And tell us a little bit about how this young woman ran against Madigan.
Yeah, Michelle Pizar was the candidate against Mike Madigan, and our efforts were to work on and assure election integrity. And so we had a number of volunteers that wanted to do exactly that. And so the night before Election Day, we gathered together in the 22nd District and met our volunteers and gave training to them as to how to be a good poll watcher, what to look out for. And of course, our focus was solely on integrity. That was it. It was to bring sensitivity to the issue of how to assure that there was a fair election. And Jack, I want to say we had more than 140 people. I think it was actually 148 people there that were excited about the prospect of learning about Chicago politics and learning how to be a poll watcher. And that's exactly what we did. We produced that, and it was very, very exciting. The volunteers learned much about how things work, and we hope to see them in the future.
I got to jump in because some of these poll watchers drove as much as 6 hours to be a poll watcher. That started at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, went all day long, and believe me, they were placed into a situation where they weren't exactly wanted.
Hey, Mike,
You were there running the movie camera
yeah. Mike,
through that whole thing.
On that point, Mike, do you want me to tell the story about Carol Davis saying everyone who drove more than an hour stand up? And
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I'll tell that story, and also I'll tell the story about the age too.
Yeah.
You want me to tell that story also?
Yeah,
okay,
go
unless
ahead.
you want, did you?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Tell me when to start.
Start?
Before you do that,
Yeah.
let me just finish the attorney thing, though, because, I had a lot of derogatory comments about attorneys, but then there are some, like John, who just, is a man of character and integrity, and I wanted to make sure that our listeners knew that John Bernbom is, and I spent the day with him and Mike most of the day, and traveling the 22nd District. And so these people did come from all over, and they got a real education in the heart of the beast, Michael Madigan's district. What a great place for training, and they can take it back to wherever they come from.
Baptism under fire, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, like you're saying, Carol, that combination of law and education, it was a very educational day for 148 volunteers. Because the night before we were together in training, and these people that volunteered, they came from all over the state. They came from different walks of life, different ages, and they're a leader, and leader, I use that term loosely, but a woman I have a great amount of respect for, Carol Davis. She asked the people there to, anyone who drove more than an hour to get to this training, please stand up. And a number of people stood. And then she said, anyone who drove more than 2 hours, remain standing. And there was a number. Any more than 3 hours, and there was a number. Well, she got to 5 hours, and it was one guy who actually admitted, I got lost on the way here.
Okay.
But the point that was being made is people made a commitment to volunteer for the activity because they care so deeply about our state and about our economy, they wanted to make a difference. So that was one aspect.
John,
Go ahead.
did this have a big connection with the Tea Party people?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
There were some Tea Party people.
Not
There were people
necessarily totally organized there, because this was from all over the state these people came. But, the Tea Party people are value people. I made a speech here to a big bunch of Tea Party people at one point, and I said, you go back to the values of our founders, and this coming election that's coming up in November, we are going to win that with the energy of the Tea Party people, and they will go from values to victory. Well, that's the cry.
That's exactly right, Jack. And let me just tell you is that people are being very carefully taught by the establishment media, and they're being taught to hate. They're being taught to hate the Tea Party. And let me just tell you, you're in a room full of Tea Party people, couples, caring people. It is truly inspirational.
It's Americanism. The media has put in a perception on these folks that they're racist, they're this, they're that. These are American
Carol Ann
values.
knows this because you ran a lot of people, led it, and walked the streets yourself.
I beg your pardon?
In the very best sense. And Joe Walsh, one of the congressmen, you had a lot to do with the people working in the street, going to the homes. I've seen you there with your flat shoes on.
Gym shoes, baseball cap,
going
and
door to
ponytail.
door.
Yep.
Lots of other volunteers doing it. The Tea Party won 4 congressional races with the money thing from the national and the state, a very minor part.